Guys, welcome back. Today is just going to be a solo podcast. I wanted to address some of the market trends that are going on nationally, as well as what builders are expecting in 2025. So please enjoy the show. It's going to be, like I said, a solo episode. So you're going to hear a lot of me talking because it's just me. All right. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about a couple things. So we're going to talk about the national real estate market trends for 2025. We're going to talk about the Tampa Bay real estate market predictions, Sarasota housing market predictions, interest rate projections for 2025, Florida's economic outlook for 2025. And then also I want to touch on the surge in new construction that's coming in 2025, what they're going to be focused on building in 2025. And then I want to talk about builders' confidence and economic factors that surround that. And then I want to talk about the interesting regional variations in new home construction across the country as well. And then obviously with the new president in town, what impacts of all the policy changes that are going on and how that'll affect the new home market and also the real estate market as a whole. So first off, let's jump at the national real estate market trends for 2025. So the National Association of Realtors forecasts a 7 to 12% increase in home sales with a modest 2% increase in sales prices. So what does that mean? Well, whenever you're talking about percentages year over year, it's all relative, right? Because whatever the number was last year, that might have been a good or a bad number. So overall in 2024, things definitely slowed down at the end of the year. And so when you see that there's going to be a 7 to 12% increase in sales, that doesn't just necessarily mean that the market is going to go gangbusters in 2025. It just means that there's still a housing shortage out there, and there will be people who still need to buy homes, and they do see that increasing by about 7 to 12%. Now, prices, they only anticipate going up 2%, which is pretty modest, and it's actually below what the inflation rate is right now. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm sure you're seeing online a lot of resales that are lowering their prices after they've been listed for a while. Average days on market has actually gone up since last year this time. And the reason for that is there's a lot more inventory out there. Historically, it's still low on the inventory side, but there is a lot more competition. One of the things that no one is really talking about with all the competition that's going on right now too is kind of the hidden competition that's out there. So what do I mean? So if you're looking to list your home right now and you're just going on Zillow or Redfin or Realtor.com or Homes.com and you're seeing all these prices, you'll see a lot of the inventory that's out there is actually completed homes from new home builders, especially in Florida where we are. And so when you're trying to figure out what you're going to price your home at, you're looking at all of those new construction homes that are completed and you're thinking, okay, hey, they're listed at $550,000. I have the same floor plan. I'm going to list mine for $550,000. Well, you're not wrong on your logic, but the thing is that $550,000 that the builder is showing online is not actually the price. So that's why that's why I said it's like hidden prices. So what the builder is doing is they're offering some sort of incentive. So when you see them offering $550,000, in reality, they might be offering up to about $50,000 or sometimes even more. I've seen in Florida in what they call flex cash. So flex cash is something that can be used to lower the interest rates, that can be used to take off the price. It's a way for the builders to really give the agility to the buyer that's in front of them to pick what is going to make the best deal structure for them, right? Because you might be a cash buyer and $50,000 off the price might be better for you. You might be taking out a loan and the monthly payment is most important. So you might take that $50,000 and buy the interest rate down. Or you might do a combo if you have a lot of money you're putting down. But whatever the case is, when you're looking at that and you're thinking about listing your home and you're thinking, man, 550 is my number, that's exactly what the builder's doing. You really have to delve into what is the builder actually listing these homes for, and it's just not the price that's listed online. So that's something that you really, really need to consider. And that's why having a realtor who knows what's going on in the market is important, especially in these times, because it's just what you see online with the builders, just not what's actually the case. So what's going on with the Tampa Bay real estate market? Everything's looking, signs are pointing upwards. And the main reason is because the region's positive business climate and job growth is projected about 2.3 times the national average over the next 5 years. So as you know, I mean, you're walking down all the new developments in downtown Tampa, Water Street, Hyde Park Village, everything that's going on down there, and all you see is building and growth, and there's businesses coming into town, and that's all great. And what that does is when those businesses are coming in, obviously there's people working for them, right, that have good paying jobs. Those good paying jobs, those people need to live in homes. That's why they believe Tampa's going to keep on growing. You'll see a lot more growth, not just in the immediate Tampa area, but a lot of the suburbs, Wesley Chapel areas that are right near downtown Tampa and easily commutable. Riverview areas, Valrico, even up in the Lutz area. All of those are going to be expanding, and the market definitely looks like it's going to continue moving pretty quick up that way. And like I said, you got to keep this all in perspective. I think what happened is 2020 warped people's idea of what a real estate market is. I mean, the days where the homes were listed in at 8 p.m. and there was 30 offers by 8:30 p.m., they're just over, and they're not coming back anytime soon. And the fact of the matter is interest rates are going to stay where they're at through the whole 2025. So the idea that, people are going to be waiting for the 4%, it's just not going to happen anymore. And we might not ever see rates back in 3.5% this decade. So it'll be interesting to see Tampa continue the grind that they're on. And I really think you'll see a lot more money flowing into Tampa as Miami becomes a little bit overpriced for a lot of people, unaffordable. So that kind of takes us into the Sarasota housing market. Sarasota is a little bit different in terms of how their economy is structured, right? Typically speaking, it's been a little bit more older money, a lot of retired people, a lot of condos. Not as many big businesses are moving their office spaces down there. So it's just kind of a different thing. It's not that the economy is doing bad in Sarasota. It's just a differently structured economy than it is in Tampa. Okay. And so there's been a couple factors that have really kind of hurt the Sarasota market over the last, even few months, last 6 months. There was 2 really, really bad hurricanes that hit directly and impacted a lot of the coastline in the Sarasota and Manatee areas. And so, all of those condos that are on there, they're seeing HOAs booming up. They're seeing assessments that no one could imagine. And so I think the days of someone who, just has a normal job and saves up and can afford that beach condo in Sarasota, I think those are done. I think the people that are going to be moving to that Sarasota area, they're going to have money just because of all the insurance costs on the coast, all the insurance costs that if you're in a flood zone or on water, it's not going to be something where it's going to be cheap to live down there anymore. Now, that's not to say inland a little bit, there's going to be neighborhoods where you can still find an affordable home in that area that's close to downtown. But everything on the water, all those condos, they'll come back. But I think the buyer that you're going to see is more of a high-end luxury buyer, which, the good thing about that is those people are a little bit less affected when, things like storms happen because they have disposable income to be able to pay the assessments. And those large HOAs don't affect them as much as it would someone with a little less income. So I think you'll see Sarasota's market really cooling, not crashing. We're not crashing. We're not in that market right now, but you will see their market cool down just a little bit in 2025. Another thing that has affected them a lot is all those condo legislation. So after Miami and the Surfside collapse, Florida completely redid what what the rules are for condos and what needs to be in reserves. So every single condo across Florida had to get a full, basically like an inspection that tells them if the structure is good, if they have enough money in the reserves, et cetera, et cetera. And so a lot of those condo buildings have reassessed HOAs, they've reassessed their fees. And so, naturally in a place like Sarasota where there's a lot of those buildings, that will affect the overall market as well. Moving on into interest rates in 2025. So, I don't know about you guys, but I have heard for the last 3 years since they started going up, oh, they're going to go back down. Oh, their feds are going to cut the rates. Oh, everything's going to go back to normal. It'll be, you ever hear this one? Date the rate and I don't even know the saying because it's so stupid, but it's date the rate and marry the home. Okay. And the thought behind that was, you can always refinance. I think that's kind of a flawed strategy, though. You need to feel comfortable in the payment that you're in, because a refinance isn't always guaranteed, and a refinance certainly isn't free. And so, when people tell you that, I just don't know if it's the best advice. I really like to tell at least my clients, like, you need to feel comfortable in your monthly payment, and you can't just bank on the fact that the interest rates are going to go down in the future. In 2025, it doesn't look like the rates are really going to go down much. They're probably going to steady out. A lot of people think they're going to end up around that 6 to 6.5 range by the end of the year. Right now, as we record this episode, they're kind of in the high 6s and low 7s. So I think you'll see they might go down a little bit, but I really don't think 2025 is going to be a year that blows people's socks off where rates go back into the 4%. So where is Florida's economic outlook for 2025? It's good. Florida's doing really well. Obviously, if they were going to pick winners and losers from the pandemic, Florida's definitely been a winner, just economically speaking. A lot of companies have moved headquarters down here. They've moved their office spaces down here. People really have figured out that people want to live where it's warm and where there's stuff to do outside. And Florida offers a lot of that. The state is planning on focusing on becoming a top 10 global economy by 2030. There's a lot of initiatives aimed at affordable housing, employment trends, and leveraging a lot of the rural areas in Florida for economic growth. Now, you're probably familiar with Florida as a lot of beach towns, and you're familiar with a lot of places along the coast in Florida. But if you've ever driven across the state, you'll see that there is a lot of rural land left. So when people say that, oh man, Florida's so crowded, there's nowhere to build anymore, there's a lot of places to build. It's just they're not going to be right on the coast anymore. So I think you'll see as Florida continues to develop and expand, you'll see those rural areas in the middle of Florida start to get a little bit more developed. A good example of that is like the Lakeland area. So Lakeland's kind of located right in between Tampa and Orlando. So for commuters to either of those cities, it's been a really affordable place for people to buy new homes and then commute into work. That was one of the most popular cities to purchase a new home in all of 2024 was Lakeland, Florida. And I think that trend will continue as well as you see some of these places that are maybe a little bit further from the city, but those homes are a lot more affordable. I think you'll find a lot of workers trying to figure out how they can move into those types of communities and make those work with their daily drives. So I know we talk a lot about new construction, and today I want to talk about where new construction is going to go in 2025. There is going to be a surge of new home construction in 2025. Builders are planning to construct approximately 1.1 million single-family homes in 2025. That's a 13.8% increase in building in 2024. Okay, this indicates a robust effort by builders to combat the ongoing housing shortage across the United States. I know a lot of people who probably watch this podcast are thinking, who the heck is buying all these homes? Well, I think the builders are really going to be focusing on smaller homes in 2025 that are on the more affordable side. So the percentage of new homes sold for under 300,000 in 2024 increased from 14% in September to 17% in November. So that kind of, people are searching for something where they feel comfortable in their monthly payment. Because at the end of the day, wages, if you look historically, have not been keeping up with home prices, leaving a lot of people feeling like they've just been left out of the game completely. And the builders have always tried to focus on first-time home buyers, at least with some of their products. And so it's been a weird shift in the last 5 years because they really haven't focused too much on the first-time home buyer because it's just been out of range for them. So I think you'll see a concerted effort for them to continue to develop communities and properties in that $300,000 to $400,000 range to really try to combat affordability. Builders' confidence, it's experienced a lot of fluctuation over the last couple of years. As of June of 2024, the builders' confidence was about 43 out of 100. And then, if you take that back even to June of 2023, it was a 55. So, it's kind of up and down. But I think money talks. And I think when you heard me say they're going to plan on building 1.1 million single-family homes, I think the confidence is actually pretty high. Regional variations in construction activity are going to continue in 2025. So what does that mean? I mean, the South really has been dominating all the new builds, and I think that trend will continue in 2025. There have been, in just new housing units authorized at the end of 2024, in the South, there were 64,913 units approved, and that's significantly outpacing regions like the West, which has been at 25,000, the Northeast at 14,000, and the Midwest at 14,000 as well. So obviously people are flocking continuously to the sun, the weather, where those businesses are coming, kind of like we talked about from before. And I mean, those numbers are pretty staggering. The South is just going to continue to dominate the new home market here for a while. And so another thing that's happened since the last time we recorded is obviously there's a new president in town, right? President Trump. And so it'll be interesting to see how that affects everything. I think it's too early to really give a prediction on that. But one thing I know that'll be interesting to see, especially in Florida, is what's happening with all the immigration laws that have been changed now and the deportations. As you know, a lot of people who work on all of these new homes are sometimes migrants or people with legal papers, but they're immigrants. And those people are going to be scared to go to work. And, listen, this has nothing to do with politics, but it'll be interesting to see how the builders kind of combat this and see if it even does affect them at all, if there does create some sort of a labor shortage. But I think keep an eye on that because I haven't heard too many people talking about maybe some of the repercussions on that end of it from the housing side. But hey, overall, I think the positive outlook a lot of people have, anytime something changes from before, usually people are going to be positive because the American spirit is really high, and people just like change. And so hopefully, with continued policy changes and economic growth, you'll see 2025 as a good year for real estate overall. I think, just me personally and my partner Mugsie, we've seen a little bit of an uptick here in the end of January going into February. I think people are really kind of coming back into the housing game who have been maybe on the fence for a while, trying to wait for those rates to fall, and are realizing, hey, those rates just aren't going to fall. So it's time to kind of jump back into the market. You can really only pause your life for so much, right? So if you've been waiting 2 years, there's only so much time you can wait to actually move. Now, I think there's really going to be 3 types of buyers in the new year. There's going to be people that want to move. There's going to be people that have to move. And then there's going to be people that are buying their second homes. And I think the people that want to move, those might be still in that slower kind of category. I think the people that need to move, that's going to increase. Just with all the orders to go back to work, I think a lot of companies are doing that. So all that shift in that, it's going to cause some people that need to move. They don't have a choice to wait on the market conditions, right? They need to sell and get out. They need to buy and move to a different place. So I think those people are going to, that will be a market that continues to thrive in 2025. And then I think the people that are buying second homes in that luxury home sector, I think that market's really going to boom in 2025. A lot of people have amassed a lot of money in the past 5 years since COVID, and the want and the hunger for luxury properties has really not stopped.